All right, I'm late. First of all, it's technically not my fault. It is, but it's not. I had to take a nap and I overslept. I'm burning it both ends on the candle. So I got what I think is needed in this conversation. I got young blood. I got the new blood of the comics, anime, manga demographic. I got Abomination AJ. Um, bro, so before we get into the deep stuff, what got you into comics, anime, manga, all that? How was it growing up for you? Because do you consider yourself a geek, gamer?
Yeah, man, I always have, and for sure, man, my dad got me into this stuff.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my dad, he was a nerd, geek, whatever you want to call it. He didn't seem like it, buff guy, blue collar man, all that good stuff. But when he get home, he was playing his Final Fantasy. He
Wow.
loved
Okay.
him some JRPGs,
Okay.
the fighting games. And then like the Dragon Ball, like he had the VHS tapes, put them together, make the little the
Oh, it makes
picture.
yeah. We put them in order. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had me watching Ninja Scroll as
Okay. Oh
as a
no,
young
not Ninja Scroll.
not Ninja Scroll.
Wait a minute. Not,
Yeah, yeah.
wait a minute.
I thought the Rock Man grabbing
Okay.
the chick
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Shit. That's
um,
crazy.
but that's how I got into it, and I had a passion for art, man. I'm a big Disney guy, so a lot of my content, man, I try to talk more about that animation because that made me the creator that I am today.
Okay.
Um, why love me some Disney is why I hate what's happening to it now and what
Okay.
it's become. But yeah, I was always drawing. As far as like being a geek, I was I was like I was just like cool with everybody growing up in high school. I went to a diverse high school. It was mostly black, but it's like I was cool with the super intelligent nerds, the gangbangers. I'm not gonna say unfortunately, they were
Yeah.
still cool people, just circumstances. Skaters, the dudes playing Yu-Gi-Oh in the corner, all of that. Because I just had like so many talents, so it like connected me with so many people. I know where those I'm gonna say closed-minded black people that would try to take shots and all that type of stuff. But then I'm going back and forth with them, so they like it's earning a respect in a way. So I was fine growing up, man. But yeah, all of this reminds me of like these conversations that you've been having previously with people, but. Uh, I've always known that I wanted to pursue art and
Okay. Okay.
comics or cartoons, animation, more specifically animation. Then you have the like I said, those closed-minded black people would tell me that's white folk shit.
Hmm.
But I was like ignoring that because I'm like, well, I suck at basketball and I don't want to end up like y'all, what y'all doing. So I'm gonna keep going my own way. So yeah, man, that's how it was for me. I didn't find the crazy liberals until I went to art college.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
And I would say that's when I realized because you had said something about when did you realize you was like a black nerd or something.
Yeah.
That's when I realized it because these I didn't look like a typical, I guess what you would say a geek, what you would see.
Okay.
So they was like avoiding me, like how we say, white people will walk across the street to avoid you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
doing that in the hallways, and they wouldn't talk to me unless they see like other whites or whatever talking to me. So
Wow.
I didn't really get to see that side of uh the world with media and what is happening until I went to college. But yeah, I was like, I didn't never need anybody's approval. So it's like, oh, okay, it's whatever. I peep game. I see what's happening, but I'm fine with it.
Okay. So, how much of it, the passion for art, was in you, and how much of it was like support from your parents, namely your dad?
Oh, bro, it was all me. My
Okay.
folks would be like, "Oh, that's cool. That looks nice."
Okay.
But like with a lot of people's parents, man, they never really saw it as a career to
Parents just
go
don't
into.
understand.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So and it wasn't really my dad. Like he wasn't really involved in all of that type of stuff, like I said, at home, like we go to the movies, we had that type of relationship. But as
Okay.
far as he didn't really talk to me about what you want to be when you grow, what your future's gonna look like. He just kind of just let me just just wing it, just go for it.
Okay.
Or knew that my mom had more of a a hand on that type of stuff. She the one showing up to all the school events and all that type of stuff. So like he was there, he just wasn't in that part of my life. But he knew somebody was going to take care of it, which was my mom. So I'm privileged in that way, a two-parent household.
Okay.
But yeah, man, they tried to dissuade me against the art and go into something that was, as that generation saw, as more secure.
Hmm.
um, but I was like, that's not for me. I was very intelligent, amazing grades, but I was just like, bro, school is boring. I hate sitting down listening to somebody. It just wasn't for me, man. I'm a passionate, rebellious, creative person. So I keep going at the art, man. And then also I train dogs. So you asked me how much time I got free time. I dealt with the dogs, man. They good, they put up. So yeah, man, art and animals was always my passion. That's why I said Disney, because mainly animal characters. So
Okay.
I went into it thinking like, yeah, if you tell a dog, hey, go get me that from the refrigerator, or hey, I'm so sad or something, hey, your dog was gonna do it, the animal was gonna do it, hell, a tiger was gonna do it. But no, I quickly found out that it's not how real animals operate. But yeah, man, so I train dogs now. I draw pictures, draw cartoons.
Let me ask you, how did you process the culture shock and when you got to college when people didn't all receive you with open arms, or they kind of gave you a dismissive look, or they went out of their way to not engage with you? How did you process that and how did you deal with it?
I didn't care.
Okay.
Because I had known of that life before, probably not through personal experience, but we would hear about it. So it was like, oh, okay, this is what that looks like. And I'm the type of person that I'm not like shocked by anything. I adapt, go with the flow. Very much like the dogs, man. It's like I just can kind of accept my situation and just learn how to overcome it, and do what's best for me. So it's like I said, it was fine. But me being a naturally like charismatic person, people would gravitate towards me. And then seeing the art. So it's like, okay, he's not, what would you say, a diversity hire in college. I guess he's not just here because he's black, he's actually skilled as well.
Okay.
And then it also made me feel good that I didn't look like the other super nerdy looking dudes, man. It's like, okay, I can, you don't have to look like that to be this, you don't have to be stereotypical to be that. So yeah, I was fine with it, man. People came around me if they wanted to. If not, I, I don't think it took any years off of my life. So
Okay, so from your vantage point, how has the gaming, anime, comic community either changed for the better or for the worse since you've come on the scene? You're still young, so and I don't mean that in no slight, but you are the next crop, the next wave. How have you seen the community prosper or either regress from your vantage point?
man, focusing on skin color, or focusing on the things that make us different as opposed to what makes us the same. That's actually funny, man, because I'm big into Pokemon, and as I say that, it reminds me of, I don't know if you watched this, probably was after you, um, but some people in the chat probably know. But when the clones, Mewtwo had all his clones
Yes.
fighting
Yeah.
the yeah, fighting the regular Pokemon. Then Meowth sitting there talking to his clone, and he's like, maybe if we focused on what we got in common as opposed to what's different, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We could live peacefully together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and again with Disney, I'm like, our media has always taught us these things, or with the X-Men, how they want to make it like a civil rights movement and all that. Okay, you can look at it like that if you want to, but they were different people coming together that had a common goal so that we can all live together peacefully. So I'm like, these things have always been in our media,
Hmm.
and somehow we didn't just forgot it. And now we're going to focus on these differences, and we're very much regressing, man. So yeah, focusing on stuff like that. And then you give, oh man, in the name of diversity and marginalized groups and all that type of stuff, then you have like we're already like a Miles Morales, for instance. I love the
Okay.
animated movie. But I'm
I'll
like,
be
then you
honest.
have.
Years ago when they first announced it, I was against it because I'm like, why?
Mhm.
Why do we need this? But go ahead. I want to get your take on it.
Well, I'm gonna say something like that, or Falcon becoming Captain America instead of his own person. I'm like, when you have things like that, then it's like that's real disingenuous to me because these people that you claim to uplift or care about, you don't care about them enough to give them their own characters.
Mm,
But at the same time, my mentality, I'm like done with the mainstream altogether. So it's
okay.
like instead of waiting on somebody else to tell a story that we approve of and then getting mad at them when they don't do it right, just leave it alone and go do our own thing. And not saying that, you a black person needs to make a black character, Hispanic needs it's just like just make your own stories that push these positive messages that everyone can relate to. And if that character just so happens to be, to look like you, then hey, that's what's up at the same time. So
That's a perfect
yeah,
point. Who do you see? What group do you see doing that more than anything? Complaining as opposed to here's a solution. Let's put our own stuff out there and do it that way.
bro, black people. But I'm around. I watch black things, so it's like through my experience, I'm gonna see it more from us. I think it's a cultural thing. I think it didn't just happen out of nowhere. I
Mm-hmm.
think events of the past have led to this, but we've allowed ourselves to be stuck to stay using that as a crutch as opposed to bettering ourselves. Like like the examples just keep coming to me. The Little Mermaid, like turning her black, like stuff like that. When I'm like, okay, y'all will praise these white people for doing that, but you look up mythology, man, Africans have their own mermaids. So why are we not trying to see our own characters being made or having some of us make those characters instead of let's just take the white one and paint her black? Because I guarantee
Yeah.
you, a few years from now, she's gonna slowly go back to white. Or if
Right.
you go to Disney World, I'm sure they're gonna have white, red hair Ariel up there instead of this.
Because that's how
Yeah.
we all grew up as seeing her as such. I was one of the few that was rooting for it to work, but
Mhm.
reality was, don't nobody wants to see a black mermaid. Not it's not so much a black mermaid. It's that you changing what they grew up, what they hold near and dear. Because you go to Disneyland, Disney World, you see the little white. Everybody, white or black, has the red hair, and try to aesthetically
Mhm.
match what the character is. So, I hate that they went that route. I get it. I don't agree with it, but I think that was a painful lesson, a painful reminder of how people still want their characters to be untouched and unbothered. Um, let's get back to art school. So, did you finish? What did you take away from that? What was the sentiment and what did you do after that? What was the motivation after art college?
Yeah, man, illustration. I didn't finish. The school was shutting down for financial reasons or whatever.
Oh wow.
People say go woke, go woke, go broke.
Yeah.
That I hate to see it, but it was a lot of that going on. And like I said, I started to see these people. So I'm seeing, man, sad to say, but colored people graduating who were seniors whose art was less than ideal.
Mm-hmm.
That was worse than mine just coming in. Now, okay, I went to college later on,
Okay.
so I still had some personal experience going in with it. I wasn't like fresh out of high school, but it was just a lot of that. And alphabet people rule the world, so all of that stuff. So I was going part time. I wasn't able to graduate on time because of financial stuff. It just didn't work out. So I was just like, well, forget it. Just going to do my own thing. Now I, do commissions and stuff for people and working on my own books and stuff. So yeah, man. It was that. What's your next question?
Um. Shit. Oh, the
Okay,
motivation
well,
at the motivation after school, post school. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So after that, like I said, man, I do commissions for people. I'm working on cartoons, got my own stuff going on. I had always wanted to do YouTube. RDC World, I don't know if you know those guys. They were a big inspiration because they was into like the anime, manga stuff, and they were just being nerds, just being themselves and not really caring about what people thought about them. I had a cousin, he was trying to do the YouTube thing. Um, Unfortunately, he passed before we got serious about it.
Mm,
But the group that he was trying to get into it, I was like, "Look, come on, y'all, like, let's make it." Because what I found out was a lot of people will sit there and be like, "Oh, I can do that," or "This person ain't that talented. How they making this money?" And I'm like, "Well, instead of sitting there like bitching about somebody else's success and claiming you can be better than them or you could do it, just go for it. Just
yeah,
try it and see what
yeah,
happens."
yeah.
So yeah, man, tried it with some people that didn't work out. I think I was like a little too serious about it, and they was like, "Hold on, bro, we just trying to have fun." I'm like, "Yeah, we are, but I want to make some money too. Like, it's gonna be a business as well. Like, I'm getting something out of this." um, so that didn't work out, and but I just don't let things stop me, man. I adapt, I evolve. So I was like, okay, let me just come up here and start doing stuff of my own. And then next thing you know, I'm not gonna say blowing up, but it was just crazy. Of like Fatal J was saying in the chat, like, yeah, I met him at one of the meetups. So I'm like starting to meet these other YouTubers, these dudes who were doing it, and I'm like, man, I can do that. And now I'm rubbing shoulders with them, or making content on them, or talking about some of the same content, being
Okay.
connected with people, connected with you now, like through all of this. It's like, dude, if I never would have tried, then I could be some dude. Not to take away from anybody in the audience that just work their job and then listen to the content. It's not for everybody, but I'm saying I could have still been wishing and
Hmm.
hoping that I
Hmm.
would have done it, and probably having those regrets and not been where I am today, if I didn't just keep going and not let the obstacles, the hiccups, if I would have let them like stop me from going. So
So how has
that's where I was at with it.
oh, that's what's up. So you do commissions. You're an independent. How has that transition been for you? How is that road? How is it going for you so far? Are you in love with the process? Do you like the path that you're on? Um, can you speak to that?
Yeah, man, I'm still learning. But I think the biggest thing I could do was, if I'm going to make an improvement in my life, I've noticed that I got to do it cold turkey.
Okay.
So I haven't been watching a Marvel movie since probably Spider-Man Homecoming. I walked out of that. Uh, it was more so like, man, just seeing media use my black skin as a shield for their shitty
Mm,
products.
okay.
And I'm like, nah, bro, I can't support. Which is why, I don't understand a lot of these people who will claim to want better for black people or want us to rise up, but you're still giving the people that hate you money.
Hmm.
So I'm like, how does that really work in the end? But it's just like, just dismissing all of this stuff, and then paying attention more to the independent stuff. And then, as we probably get into, seeing what's happening with the independent stuff, and
Yeah.
how the mission has been lost with some people. But I'm just like, okay, well, just don't have to pay attention to that so much. But yeah, man, just focused on making my own content, creating things, truly being, I'm not going to say an answer to the mainstream or competing with them. Hopefully in the future,
Yeah.
that does happen. I become a Walt Disney around here. But that's where I'm at. Just like, okay, well, if I want these things done, if I want to see these stories, then I will have to do it myself. So there you
So
go.
are you currently working on your own stories to tell to present to the public? That you still working that process out, trying to figure some things, flesh out stories, character designs. Where are we at with that?
For, for sure, man. I got nothing to show. I'm not gonna say unfortunately, because I'm still working on things. The way it was, I always knew I wanted to create, but seeing what has happened with culture in the past decade, And then hearing Eric July say there's no better time than now to be a creator, I'm like, oh snap. So it's kind of like, put a foot in
Yeah.
my tail.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well, I can't keep putting this stuff off. Let me go ahead and get to creating. But I've been able to, again, man, talk to these independent creators because growing up, you reading comics or whatever. I remember you were saying this on the stream before, or you're a guest. Most consumers, most normies don't know there's a comic besides a Marvel or a DC,
Right.
or more companies that create comics. So I was learning all of this stuff like end of high school, into college. Um, but yeah, man, it's just like, okay, well, it's time to create now, and people have they hunger for news, for something fresh, for something authentic. But I think where I'm trying to slide in, my focus is like all of these grown men are complaining about, oh, they killed my franchise, they killed my IP, woe is
Uh-oh.
me. And I'm like, yeah, they have, but you're fighting to get back what you, it's like some childness in you that you once had, and we're forgetting about the actual children, and we're not fighting for new content, new media for them to consume. Like, yeah, we want to show them the old stuff we watched, but what about something new that, in the future they can be like, hey, put their kids on, like, I used to watch this, and I grew up with this, and give them those fond memories and nostalgia that we had, but just with newer ideas instead of just regurgitating the old stuff. Because I mean, I hear like Mark with the C, for example, was showing his son the Star Wars, and I'm like, hey, that's cool,
But
but that looks real old and crappy compared to something that we could have now. Hey, I don't think the next generation gonna be so forgiving of the quality. So yeah, man, we need new stuff for them. Looney Tunes come to mind. I grew up on Looney Tunes, and a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff, but it's like seeing something so mature as like a Yosemite Sam pulling out pistols and blasting, or Elmer Fudd, you know what I'm saying? Them putting a stick of dynamite in somebody's mouth. I'm like, bro, that's wild. But as a kid, I'm watching this stuff, or it's crazy, man. You see them mixing up the poison. They got the little
yeah.
skull and crossbones. Oh, they look like making folks drink it. I'm like, wild stuff like that, man. Hey, we need to bring that back, man. People too soft. We need some Looney Tunes in our
Oh
life.
my god. Yo, it's funny. I sit back and watch it. Yo, the cartoons are either hella racist or extremely
Yeah,
ultra violent. I'll just be like, we grew up on this. We grew up on
bro.
this.
I didn't realize till later, man. When I was talking about they put the dynamite in their mouth and it blow up, and then they got the black face, the pink lips, and they got the hair and the little twist, what they call little plaits and stuff. I didn't know what that was as a kid, man, but now I'm like, bro, they wow, they bold for that. But I give them props because I'm like, back then they was like, this is life. It is what it is. We're not saying we hate you. I can't say that in all honesty. As me growing up watching these, but these are cartoons from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So at that time, they could have had this issue with black people.
Mhm.
But I, as a creator, I don't see it that way. Like when I see the Black Crows in Dumbo, I wouldn't automatically assume that those artists hated black people because they showed this. To me, that shows a level of creativity where you
Okay.
can depict this race of people as an animal and it makes sense.
Mm,
It, it's just like how people do caricatures,
yes.
or I draw a lot of people. A lot of my commission work, my cartoons, I'm drawing people as animals, as creatures and whatnot. So it does take a level of skill to make that translate over to something that's not human, which I
Okay.
respect.
Right.
So I'm looking at the art form and the creativity of it as opposed to I'm up in arms. They showed us like this, and just stuff like that. Now, when I see Popeye, uh, bro, there was one cartoon Popeye did like he was knocking out these Africans, and then after he was
They
just
had
beating
the
them
the
up, and they was all
pigtail
like
with the
stacked
bone
up,
in it. I know what you're talking about. I know.
but he
I
was
know.
knocking them out, and they was like stacked up, and then he put up a sign like 50% off or something like that. Then I'm like, okay, I know what that means. But then when I see Bugs Bunny, portraying a slave. I'm like, bro, that's funny. That's wild. Bugs Bunny is about the equality. Okay, anybody can get it.
Hey,
So
Bugs
yeah,
Bunny
man,
was
that's
in a dress, all types of wow shit. They did, you know?
whatever he needed to do to win. I'm like, I love that energy about Bugs, man.
That's crazy. You know that is so interesting that you see it from that perspective. That you're able to pick up on that and not dwell on the emotional um, responses or what it's trying to get out of the person emotionally, and you see it from a creative standpoint, which is dope, and that just speaks to the generations, the difference in generations from when I grew up. Because when I was watching this stuff, clearly as a kid, but then he's like, then you get angry. He's like, what the fuck? I've been watching this bullshit all this time. They're making fun of me. So yeah, I mean, Mr. Popo with Dragon Ball Z. I was just sitting there like, wow. So
that has been a topic of conversation since Akira Toriyama's passing, and I don't say unfortunate passing. I'm like, look, man, God got a plan. He took the man when he needed him, but his passing. I've never thought Mr. Popo was black. I knew he was like some type of Indian with it. I mean, the turban and then a little jacket with the big pants. So I'm like, look, bro, it was the other black people that was clearly black with the big lips that I was like, come on, man, you could draw us a little better than that, bro. You know what you're doing. Mr. Yeah, Mr. Ghost Man. Yeah. So anyway, man, because if all you have is an emotional response, I don't think change will come from that.
okay,
Bettering it won't come from that, from just being emotional about things. So then you start to blame people. You did it.
yeah,
It's like, okay, they did. Now what? Like, how you gonna move forward? Or look, man, my white audience know I talk trash about everybody, every race. Okay, so hey, just like they clown us, clown them back.
yeah,
It is what it is, and
yeah.
just have fun with it. But that shows, yeah, man, these current people creating, if they can't laugh at you or even laugh with you, then they don't respect you. If you
Okay,
have to tiptoe around these
around them,
people, we
right?
can't show them like this, then it's like, okay, you don't respect me as an intellectually mature individual. And I will say a lot of that is our fault. Again, the past might have something to do with that, but we've allowed ourselves to be stuck. Um, like, not to get too political, but with the whole BLM thing. And I'm like, black people had all eyes on them, and we didn't do nothing with it but trash our communities. We ain't doing better by black people. We are Andre 3000 had a line. I can't think of it word for word, but something along the lines of he hoped his kid just basically continue to be him. And he said not have that nigga syndrome.
Okay,
So where it's like you don't let the people around you keep you in that box and keep you from not attempting to be who you truly can be, what God has for you. And I'm like, like our people been preaching this here and there, and we just still ain't got it. So again, man, I can't blame others for not respecting us because we don't respect ourselves. We don't respect each other enough to better ourselves. Like the Proud Family, for instance, I was trying to do the YouTube thing. Apparently, you watch a show and you review that
yeah,
that show.
yeah,
Like, you try to build an audience. So I try to do that for the Proud Family because I love the OG Proud Family. I can't
okay,
think of anybody who didn't.
right,
But again, this is when people were authentically being black or having these shows and not harping on that or trying to preach a message. It was just like, I'm just gonna show these characters how they are, and everybody can relate to them. But then you see the new stuff,
oof, that was bad.
and boy, I'm talking about the slaves built this country like that when they was doing that thing, and they were saying like 40 acres and a mule. Like, I'll take the 40 acres, bump the mule. It's like you don't want the animal that's going to help you work the land to get more
Yeah,
from that land. It's not a black issue. I think it's a human issue. Again, me working with animals, I see it a lot, but all these videos, man, is like we think we're so much better than animals that we can't work with them or learn anything from them. So I didn't like that message that was being pushed with the show. The first episode, they took Sticky out, the intelligent straight black
I
male,
remember that.
and
Yeah.
put in
Yeah.
Myron, who was this little. At first, he was just little. We called it Fruity in the original show. Now he full on transitioning over to something else, identifying as whatnot. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, because he was there before, if you would have just made him like on the main cast or whatever, I could have been more forgiving. But the fact that you take out the straight black intelligent male at the
Hmm.
same time, there's message being pushed that's not helping my culture at all. But then I forgot. I think this lady was like an executive producer or something on the show. But then find out that she was like nobody would stop her and her gay messaging that she was pushing in the show. And she said this is not like the Disney of old where they would have said something,
Mm.
but now they just like hands off. So she was like every opportunity I could, I was putting something gay in it. And don't just go with my words, man. Please go look
Yeah.
that up for yourself so people can get like full context. But I'm like, at first, it was taboo to think that these things were happening, but now it's become so normalized. People are emboldened. They don't care. They don't fear consequence. Uh, what South Park said, make it lame and gay. I don't think they're aiming to make it lame, but by them prioritizing making it people of color and extra points if they gay and all that, you lose the store. You therefore you're making it lame. So that's what's happening now. I know you was asking me about the current culture and how I feel about it, what's happening because of all of that. I'm not checked out. I pay attention, but I'm not emotional about it anymore. I'm seeing what needs to be done, and it's like, okay, let's get some people together with that mindset. So while people squabble and cry for a Black Little Mermaid or a handicapped Hercules or something. I didn't see that. I just made that little part up, but I'm just saying, um, let's just go do our own little thing over here and see what happens. I
And let
think
me.
people will appreciate it.
No, that's well said. Highly mature response. How much of your demographic feels the exact same way as you do?
Oh man. So this is where we're gonna get into the conversation where you were kind of talking about like us being a minority. I think, and even Mark with the C was saying it, man, most of the comments that, and I can't speak for you, but most of the comments from black people that we'll get, it'll be like coon, self-hating black man, like all this type of stuff.
Really?
Or you see these blurred type people where that's their whole identity. And if it's black, it's beautiful, it's good.
Mm.
So they just completely ignore everything around. Like Soul, for instance, the Disney that movie, Disney Pixar Soul. And I'm like, because it talks about mental health and you see this black man and all that, I'm like, people think, oh, it's good, it's great, it's amazing. I said, but I used to almost get teary. I don't cry easily, but I got real emotional because I'm like, if you look at the cover, you see a black man and a cat, but after you watch the movie, you realize that there's a little white girl in his body. He's in the cat.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
or when you see the princess and the frog, Tiana, black, she's beautiful, but she's a frog for most of the dang movie. And all the black kids around her when her dad was there eating gumbo.
That's
I'm
right.
like, where was all of these N words when she was trying to get the business so that they could actually own something? Like
Yeah.
none of them was there. It was her white friend that they highlighted. That was like, girl, if you just ask me, I give you the money. I'm like, bro, like what is this? And then she had to get this not I'm not gonna say not black. I mean, he's brown, Prince Naveen from a whole nother country. So it's like she couldn't get no little homie out the ghetto
No.
that understood the struggle
Right.
and come up. She had to go get some. She was a passport chick or whatever.
Oh. Oh.
So
That's a
it's just
way of
stuff like that, man.
that's a way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that, man. I'm like, look, bro, I can't get these folks my buddy no more.
before we get
It's
into the
sad.
heavy stuff, where does your sense of consciousness and unity come from? Where is that from your father? That's just something that's always that's just how you.
Nah, man, that's just me. It's me being rebellious. My mom, growing up, man, I think it was time for me to vote. My mom was like, "You better vote Democrat."
Uh oh.
I, I was like, I was like, "Why?" I just asked why. You know, I'm not even now. I'm not into the politics. I understand now that that really ain't for us. It's for them, and I'm not
Mm,
necessarily saying it's a color thing. I think it's a class thing.
okay.
I'm not into the politics, man. I also growing up Christian, I figure I'm like, why am I putting so much trust in another man for my safety and well being? I should be
Mm,
trusting the Lord. He gonna make things work out. Um, that didn't come from my people, man, because again, they was I went to church. I would ask questions about church. Not that I didn't believe, but it's just like just a better understanding.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was I was seeing as all type of bad things. Not wanting to vote Democrat. Then I was with them white folks and all that. I was like, I just want to understand why we do the things that we do. Not saying I won't do them, but I need to know why. Make it
Mm-hmm.
make sense for me. So man, I love being black, man. It's simply that. When you see the best of black people, okay, growing up in the '90s, when you see something like Fresh Prince or and I can't think of well, all in the not all in the Family Matters,
Okay.
because I watch the white ones too. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't discriminate, but I'm like when you see these older shows and you just the Cosby's. I was just talking about this with my cousin. Like when you see this type of stuff where you had these black families, they did have money. It wasn't always about the struggle. Remember, they came about the struggle.
That's right.
Uncle Phil talking about it. Like, yeah, I've been through that. I don't want to be there. I don't want to have to wake up and my black neighbor don't, run up in my house with a gun. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. So it's just like seeing those type of things, I gravitated to that. I wanted that. I want better for my people. So I think that's just where it comes from. But you can't help you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't have it all together myself. So I can't go out there and get on the soapbox or start preaching to people. But when I do see things like this in media, something that I'm very comfortable with, knowledgeable of,
Mm-hmm.
then I can at least speak on that. But after doing that enough and seeing how black people are just so against, because you did ask, you was asking about like how, black people or how we see ourselves or who's on this like mission with me. I'm like, once you see it enough that there aren't a lot of us that's like preaching true equality and not necessarily segregating ourselves, but separating ourselves so that we can own and pass it down to ours, then I'm not jaded or I'm not black pilled, but it's just like, okay, I need to do a lot of work on for me and to build myself up to where I can help others who are willing, who do have that state of mind to want to do better and not just accept the sloppy seconds of white folks.
Okay.
Like with the recast T'Challa thing, like seeing so many. First of all, seeing how many single black mothers that took their kids, their sons to go see it, not knowing what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
expecting to see this black man, but at the same time not seeing them. But it's like, well, shoot, strong, independent black woman. It's like, okay, I can't save y'all, man, and y'all don't want to hear what I gotta say because it just sounds like I hate black when I say it. But I'm like, no, I want black people to have their own things and to be proud of it and not always man, I equate it to like being domestic dogs, man. It's like we have an owner and we only as good as that owner is going to allow us to be.
Right.
Or, I'm a wolf, bro. That's why my icon, my avatar, it's a werewolf. I'm a beast. I'm gonna get it on my own, and I want a pack of like-minded individuals around me who wants to go and hunt and get our own. But then like Mowgli from the Jungle Book. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those animals weren't really just trying to kill one another. Like they had a code, they had guidelines, there were rules in the jungle. I'll share with all of y'all. Like Baloo, the bear, he was the teacher. I want more of that. Again, I love black, so we can have our wolf pack over here, but there's a whole jungle that we got to share with others. We have to set ourselves apart and put us in a position to where we can be respected and be real players in the game, as opposed to these white folks like, yeah, I like how that N word thinks, or he ain't asking no questions. He gonna do whatever we tell him. So he gonna put the dress on, like stuff like that, bro. It's like that's my mentality with it, and that's how I feel about the black people, I guess, in
Ooh,
this space.
cool. All right, we're gonna get right into it. First, I want to take time to thank Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver, because had I not walked in on that, I wouldn't have met all y'all. I would have met you.
Mhm.
I would have met Fatal J, Generation Geek, Jimmy Reyes. So I gotta somehow, in a weird way, thank him, because now because for forever I've been asking, where the fuck is everybody? I know there's us that
Yeah.
enjoy this stuff. Where the hell is everybody? And everybody knows my thoughts on the Eric July thing. I want to know your thoughts. You're the young guns coming in. They're gonna pass at some point. They're gonna pass the baton to you, pass the torch to you, and they're gonna charge you with maintaining and building this community, this industry. What do you not like? What do you like? How does it look to you? These motherfuckers crazy or what? Am I crazy for thinking they're crazy?
Sly. Ah, man, we'll get into it. I think as the conversation goes on, I straight out the gate, I fully support Eric. Eric has he has not actively attacked anyone, preyed on anyone's downfall, um, brought negativity to others. Um, I followed Eric. It was around the whole the virus, the
Okay.
bat virus
Okay.
thing. um, and I was always that plus the media. So the media was real trash, man, that I was consuming. Like I said, Disney, the Marvel stuff, even DC had, they had their hand in it as well. And I was like, this stuff is trash, but everybody around me is telling me it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then I sought out the internet. Okay, I need some other opinions, not just from the people around me. And then that's when I found like the Geeks and Gamers, the Nerdrotic, Eric July. I found Eric first because again, I think it was because of the time period we was in with the bat stuff, and he was preaching the libertarianism. And like I said, I'm not into politics, but I did like that idea. Again, man, not even knowing there was other things besides a Democrat and a Republican.
Okay.
So that's why I would watch more of his content, because he was doing more than just crying about media. And he was into the same things, the comics and the stuff that I was into. So I'm like, and he was black. It's like I didn't go to him because of that. I think when people look like you, I think that's a plus. I and no shade to anybody who seeks that out. Like, sure, if that's your thing, I'm not seeking it out. But if a person is black at the same time, then I'm just like, for sure,
Okay. Right.
because so that's why I pay more attention to Eric than the other guys, because I felt like he had more to offer. And then he was talking about he wanted to make a comic book. He complained about the issue, but he was like, I want to become the solution. I had dreams of making a comic book. So I was like, cool, I get to check out this man's process and see, how he goes about it. And talking to Eric, in real life, good dude, man. So like I said, he has done nothing to actively hurt anyone else. So the drama right now, I don't care for it. As far as the drama, my issue with Eric was how he would talk around it.
Okay.
and he would not be direct. If I don't like a person or if I got issues with them, I will tell them straight up. Now, EVS was like he sent the whole letter and all that. So I mean that was direct. But if people ask about it on streams, then he's like that guy or certain people and all that. And I'm like, I don't like that approach
Yeah.
because I'm like, you're claiming to ignore it, but you're really not. And you're still giving these people something to talk about. Um, so that was my issue with that. If we want to talk about just ISOM itself, though, I supported ISOM about book one, about book two. And
The verdict is
verdict is look, I don't tell anybody that you need to go buy this or whatever. I would say, is it worth the money? I and this is where I disagree with you, Sly, because you were
okay.
talking about like how long it kind of took and the pricing. I had no issue with the price. Do I think the book is worth the price? Do I think the quality is there? No. But I look at it like this company is in the early stages of a Marvel, of a DC. Like Superman couldn't fly at first. Batman was goofy. It was dark, and then he was goofy. Like there's an evolution that takes place. And I'm like, okay, hopefully with time, this dude gets better. I'm paying attention. I bought the first two books. I will buy the third one
Okay.
just to see how it goes to complete the arc or whatever. Um, but I haven't bought Alpha Core. I don't care about Yaira. I didn't care about these characters in the book. I felt like the book had too much that it was trying to throw at you
Okay.
as opposed to focusing on Isom. Now, again, I don't know what's in his head. He claims that he's thought about all this. He has a plan. As I say that, I think about Dutch. I don't know if you play Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Dutch, I have a plan. Folks just like, bro, it don't look like it, bro. But anyway, so I'm like, there was too much. Like even with the second book, Blood Ruth was a dope character. The black chick with the magical, weird, witchy powers or whatever. Like I like that character, but
Okay.
I can admit she shouldn't be here. I like it, but this is too much. Like you're throwing everything at us. You're not really focusing on anything. And again, Eric, I love what Eric is doing, man. I support him, but I will critique things. I will give my honest opinion. It's not it's not keeping me like invested. A lot of people are. That's good for them. But like he had said on he said somebody was interviewing him because people get asking what are Isom's powers. Look, bro, I should see something. Okay, you didn't know Goku was a Super Saiyan, but god dang, the dude
You,
lifting crazy
yeah.
weights.
I mean, he was
You know what
fighting
I'm saying?
grown men.
Yeah, headbutting robots and stuff as a kid. I'm like, Eric said like there's One Piece been going on for 1,000 episodes, and you still don't know what the One Piece is. No, but we know Luffy can stretch. We know he dumb strong. I just seen, bro. I'm getting into One Piece. I saw Luffy climb a mountain with two other homies carrying them up a mountain. It's like, bro, no, I don't know what the One Piece is, but I believe this dude is going to find it.
Fine. Yes. Yes.
I don't believe Isom can take on the stuff that's getting thrown, that possibly will get thrown at him, man. And there's little small things that you can do, like Spider-Man stopping the car or just jumping high. That's something in anime. You like, bro, you'll see regular people in anime, and somehow they can just take 100 foot like fall or like jump. You know what I'm saying? It's like little small stuff like that where it's like, okay, there's hope for this character. But I'm just not getting any of that from the book, man. But slide and this was when you and Red Sing the Blues was talking, man. This is where I was saying I disagree with y'all.
Okay.
I'm saying these things, but and I like what Mark with the C said. I'm not gonna have some clickbait like people can probably click what I said, but it's honest, okay? It's honest, and I want the best for him. I still want to support this dude, and I hope it gets better. Like I said, I'm looking at it early stages of Marvel and DC.
Mm-hmm.
This company will evolve. It will get better. I'm sure of it, based on Eric's his track record, and the bit I know of him as a person, and seeing how he is focused, sure, on the business as opposed to the creative side, as some people would think. I think he's um, touching on both. He's addressing both. I believe it's going to get better, but I'm not going to actively go against what he's doing if he's not actively bringing any harm on anyone. So
Okay.
I don't care for calling him tokenized or like trying to put this negative light on him when he's trying to do something that's better for all of us. At no point did he say black people, and I think a lot of people put that responsibility on him because he's black. He should be doing stuff for us, but black people ain't help him get to where he was. So why should he focus
Ooh,
on that?
shit.
I do believe that, and this is just for myself, like in my creative endeavors, I want to, because what I went through as a kid, wanting to pursue art, I think everybody goes through that. I've heard other races say that their family wasn't supportive, but they wanted to. So in me creating something, I want to be representation for others in the sense that if you want to draw or do these creative things, go for it. I don't care what you look like.
Okay.
But my plan is to go back and pick up and try to help some of those black kids
I'm glad you
that
said
want
that,
to.
because that's my rebuttal to your point. Is yeah, white folk helped
Yes.
Eric get to where he's at, but Eric should be in the back of his mind like, yeah, now I'm about to do the spook set by the door type of shit. I'm gonna grab these young black content creators. I'm gonna cuff them up,
Mhm.
and we gonna do this and whoop de whoop bam bam flim flam. And I'm not seeing that. Not that he owes it to me to show me, but once
Yeah.
again, the only reason I even know of you guys, he beefing with old white dude.
And I would say that is an issue on our part, Sly, because I haven't done an ISOM review because I didn't want my honest opinion. Now, people ask me, I'll tell them,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't going to make it my business to do that because there was so many people preying on his downfall, wanting to attack him, looking for something. I didn't want to give them any ammo. I didn't want to in some way contribute to Eric July's slander when he's done nothing to attack others.
Okay.
Um, so although I think again we put that responsibility on him because he's black, but black didn't get him to where he is.
Okay. So
So
does
to
he?
me, it would be crazy for him to be like, okay, now I need to go help my brothers or do this for my brothers.
Well,
I
well,
think with time it will come. I think in time it will come, but dude just figuring things out. Like let Superman become bulletproof. Let him soak up the sun rays before we just put save the world on him or save our black world. So that's how I'm looking at it.
okay. Here's, and this is just my life experience.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, with us, it's almost expected when you get into a certain position to help those that look like you because everybody else does the same thing. They don't get excoriated for it. They don't get trashed for it. That's expected. I expect Asians to help Asians once they get in a position of power. I expect Indians to do the same thing. Europeans, same thing as well.
I have a rebuttal for that.
Okay. Eric wanted to be king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So now them people don't put you in the position. You got the spotlight on you. And once if things ever go left, if you ever fall out of favor with them, you have only one recourse to come back to people that look like you. We've seen this happen throughout time and history, It's never not happened to some degree. Um, and given the lack of diversity, the lack of voices, black men, black women in the comic book industry, I'm looking at this like, well, yeah, you should be getting the Justice League together behind the scenes of just nothing but all black creatives, because any other body else, it would be doing the same. But go ahead.
I think if he did that, that'll be a slap in the face to all of his fans that are not black. And it would be in a way say that there's no value in y'all, or he don't appreciate them getting him to that point. Because again, man, I heard a dude streaming with you was saying that I'm not saying that I interpreted it as negative, but like him being a black metal dude that raps and into comics or something, like that's weird, that's unheard of. And I could be paraphrasing, people check me on if I say something crazy,
Yeah.
but I think just that mentality right there, like I said, Eric, black people ain't get him to where he was. If anything, it was black people that was gang banging and doing the negative stuff with them. But as he was doing the metal stuff, and I can only speak on what I saw, like there were white people, and I'm sure there's mostly white people at his like concerts when he's doing tours,
Of course.
and what
Of
and
course.
whatnot. So
Yeah.
so why should he go back and help a group or make it his mission to uplift a group that will spit on his face again? Like people like me and you, as soon as we say something that's I don't like Black Ariel, then I'm all types of coons and all that type of stuff. Like, why is it my mission to go save y'all? My first rebuttal was when you said other races will do this. Sure, but before these people even get to a space where they can shine and be talented and help the people around them, they had parents who encouraged them to be there in the first place. So again, as a culture, we don't even have that part together. I think if more black people had if we had the support of our own families, we wouldn't be looking to some messiah to come help us, because we're already about that. We've already experienced it. It's like it wouldn't be so foreign. Again, we're looking at Eric and you say he wanted to be king. He never wanted to be the king of comics. He simply wanted to make a book that was good because all the other books was trash. So I'm like, now that we see this sacrificial lamb in a way, it's like, ooh, that's the one. Everybody want to get a hold of it, but just just let that lamb just become a ram. He'd be more useful when he has his horns and when he has more experience. And and again, if he says something to actually go against black people
Yeah.
or something, I'd be like, oh bro, you wildin'. But he's not. He's creating for everybody. And I think that's how he's going to be the most successful. Kevin, I've heard it pronounced Graveau. I think he did say Graveau. People would say Grievix. The dude who created Blue Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
Underworld. And when I was saying like representation of how I see it, I didn't know that the black dude who was the thick ass buff werewolf in the movie was the guy that created it.
Hell, hey, when I saw the screen with I was like, what? He did? I was floored. Floored.
Yes. So to me, that is representation. I love Underworld. I like the supernatural stuff as opposed to the science fiction. I mean, it's kind of all, and especially when you get into comics, there's a good mix of it all. But I like the monsters and myths as opposed to some dude got blown up in a lab and now he got powers.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, that's cool, but yeah, anyway. So seeing how he was more interested in that stuff, Kevin Graveau, Kevin, Mr. Kevin, seeing how he was interested in that stuff. And again, he didn't make something that was black because he was black. He just made something that was good that everybody could enjoy.
Mhm.
But he was like, hey, I'm gonna be up in it too though. It's my baby. And I'm like, okay, knowing again, I think that's that mentality of seeing a black Ariel. It's like we want to be a part of white people's stuff so bad that we forget to create our own for ourselves that will ultimately mean something. Um, so yeah, that's what representation means to me. Knowing that being told a lot of my life that that's white folks stuff. But then knowing, or Dwayne McDuffie, I didn't know he was black. I just saw the name.
Mm-hmm.
But then seeing that he's created all of these things that I enjoyed that didn't focus on black, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, that's representation. Black people can create, and it all races. It can appeal to all races. Phil Lamar, Keith David. Sure, they're a part of other people's projects, but they're behind the scenes creating something that lasts generations that
Yeah, Cree
everybody
Summer,
talks
all
about.
yeah.
So I'm like, that's more important than me than just seeing something black on screen, because that black on screen could be T'Challa dying from a goddamn cold that nobody else got. But them being so showing, focusing on black on screen, and you didn't say this. I'm just kind of going
No.
off now. But I made a video. It was all representation, no respect. When you see somebody like Finn from Star Wars be portrayed in the trailer as he's going to be the next Jedi, he's going to be the next main character, but seeing him get reduced to just crying for some white chick,
Yeah.
or with the Black Panther, which I didn't care for the movie, and I think he was even pushed into Civil War, and that sucks as a black man to say that one of the most whack movies was the one with the Black King in it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, white folk did that, man. Now, sure, you could say, I forgot the dude's name, Ryan Coogler. Okay, you can say that, well, a black dude created it, but he still had a white person with the little marionette strings on him, like controlling what he was doing.
Yeah.
So when I see stuff like that, but then in that video that I referenced, that I made, I was saying, how come this dude is dying? Okay, science won't cure him. Wakanda is the perfect blend of science and mysticism. Let's go to that part. We haven't seen that in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the time for you to bring that up. So you mean to tell me that Bast, this black goddess, ain't gonna save her vessel? Like she can't come and do something? Or I'm gonna stay on Bash real quick. I was saying, like, why was she not a factor? But then if you go watch Thor, I think Love and Thunder, her black tail sitting up there behind Thor and King Valkyrie. That's
Yeah.
another thing. This black woman is king all of a sudden. But I'm like, her black tail sitting up there in this movie behind the whites, when her black vessel, her black king chosen dude needs her. Now, I don't think these people are competent enough really to tell this story, but I'm just saying the pieces are there, as well as like people will praise House of Dragon. I don't care for that show,
And why
because
not?
of, if you pay attention to the black characters in there, they're sprinkled about. There's no black culture. There's just black people and white people things. You see, there's a black chambermaid, which sure there are other white chambermaids as well. But as soon as I saw the black chambermaid, when it opened up the scene on her, she looked like what is it, Mammy? How they taking care of the white folks' kids, and that's exactly what she was doing. She was
Okay.
on the ground scrubbing the floor. She was taking care of the white people kids. The black dudes in here who are of this royal bloodline, all this type of stuff. This dude is fighting for his wife to become the next, his white wife to become the next king. And then when you had the black brother who spoke up and was like, "Bro, them ain't our kids. They don't look like us."
Yeah.
What happened? Then you had Damon come slice his head off. Nope, we don't need that strong black energy in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
show.
yeah.
So, and I had said, in that moment when he spoke up, you could have had them like come together. The dragon could have bust through the wall, saved him. They all plotting or something. And everybody, mostly white audience, was telling me, "Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Everybody dies in Game of Thrones. You're looking too much into it." And then in the next episode, her white ass, please calm me down if I'm like cussing or going too hard or whatever.
You're good.
But I'm like, when she was about to get taken out of here, her dragon busted
Her
the
dragon
wall.
came through.
So I was like, hold on, it's possible, but it don't happen for us. But I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, but it's a lot of stuff like this that's going on. And okay, I was saying that because No, the mysticism. Okay, so that mysticism that I was saying in Black Panther, instead of having these black dudes over there in this white culture just to be seen,
Mhm.
you could have had him in the Black Panther movie, or it should have been a Black Panther series playing Doctor Voodoo. Where okay, if the current Wakandans maybe they're so focused on technology, they've moved from the mysticism. Then you
Right.
have this guy an equal to Doctor Strange. So they got their white magician. Let us have our black mage. Somebody that shows I'm over here doing my own thing. I don't have to be in y'all's white world. Y'all can have Doctor Strange. I'm gonna hold it down over here for these people. I'm like, you could have had him come in there, take T'Challa through the little spirit plane, or take Shuri to get her brother, pull her back, like stuff like that. I'm like, bro, the pieces are there. But with that T'Challa thing, I also said in the video, they capitalized off of this black man's death. If you loved him so much, they're like, oh, he was a great man. There's no T'Challa without him. If you cared about him so much, why would you put the people that cared about him through his death again?
It was
Why would you?
disgusting. That whole
Yeah.
campaign.
So that. So then the whole question of recast T'Challa, do it or not. And I came up with a solution. I said, you don't have to. You can easily have him with his mask on and have Doctor Strange pull him through one of those portals and then attach him to this. Okay, you since y'all have introduced the multiverse, let's just go on that. And then you could have had him go in and you form the Illuminati, but put that over there. But this movie is about Shuri with the responsibility of, dang, somebody got to watch over our people while my brother is going handling that.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he died, but because he's handling that. He's going to be great over there,
Mm-hmm.
handling these worldly threats while I'm sitting here trying to hold down Wakanda. Then you could have given people time to grieve and you could have came out with another actor later. Yeah, the actor would have, oh, he ain't Chadwick Boseman. That was gonna come regardless, but it would have been way less later on down the line. But again, these people either they're not competent enough or they're overly confident and they know what they're doing and they know the messaging that they want to push. So they're like, we're gonna do it here in the first movie, and I've admitted I had my dashiki on for the first Black Panther movie. Bro, it's a cultural thing. We want to attach ourselves to greatness so
Yeah.
bad. But hey, I had my dashiki before it. I was rocking. I had a hoodie on.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
so I'm like, I wanted to see greatness from that movie. But they made it a whole cultural thing. Everybody doing this, like
that was cringe. That was cringe.
so they couldn't get that same response the second time. So they said, okay, for the blacks, capitalize on Chadwick Boseman death. We need another people of color. Let's get them Hispanics. So we're gonna turn Namor
into whole
into that. And then I see it. I see all the conversations. Ooh, representation. Ooh, these people. I'm like, bro, if only y'all knew how they really felt about y'all. And it works. It works. So like when you were saying like people that think like me or this rebellious nature or whatnot, it's like seeing a lot of people will say it's just a movie, it's just a cartoon, why do you care so much? But that's that closed-mindedness when you see how these things are being used
Mm-hmm.
to socially engineer people and it's easily dismissed because it's just a movie,
Right.
it's just a something. It's like, oh, okay, we've already lost the war, man. we I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a good metaphor with that one, but I think it's okay to admit defeat. But we can go and do something else somewhere else and try to, salvage something, create something out of nothing and see where that takes us as opposed to trying to hold on to something that is lost.
Excellent points. I do agree with the Black Panther. I'm not going to give these people a pass and say they didn't know what they were doing. I believed. I mean, if you ever been in a writer's room, all things are brought. Everyone has their own notes. They all bring their lore, their study guides, their books, and I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if that was ever discussed. I would think, okay, well, who had the final say so? Because it'd have been, I'd have recasted him. It'd have been ASAP. They did it before with the Hulks. You did it before with Rhodey. Like Marvel has a history of recasting people. They just did it with Harrison Ford with with Red Hulk. So that's nothing, you know. And I, like you said, I hate how they capitalize on Chadwick's death and just turn it into some weird, uber long memorial. Just and then the video with his face on the wall. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. Like this ain't the way.
Yeah, man.
Not the way. My only rebut to your point with Eric July. Fine, don't save everybody. I don't want you to save everybody. I want you to save the best and the brightest that deserve to be saved. Put them through a trial by fire. If they get to the halfway to the mountaintop, okay, you're worthy. I see you put in the effort. You want it just as bad as I do. Okay, come on. I'll preface and just say, do it that way. Because once again, people are going to look at him, black folk, regardless of what we say. They're going to be like, why ain't you doing? It's coming. It's coming, and I'm slowly hearing these critiques and criticisms of him. Like, well, the Saska sisters, and then people get to doing their research. Oh, you're working with these women, so it's slowly becoming part of the conversation with him. And whether he wanted to be king or not, he's there. You do the first campaign, it goes through the fucking roof. You're a rock star now, sir, and we're going to treat you like one. So here comes the slings and arrows, the praise as well. And I hope that you're built for this because it's coming and it's going to keep coming. So,
and I apologize for just going off on all that.
No, you're good.
It did start with the Eric stuff, and then I went over into that. But yeah, I do think that is a conversation that we need to have. Like I was saying, as black men. So I was glad to see you and Red Sing the Blue with the crabs in the bucket. It was funny. I actually saw it from EBS.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say this. From these two examples, the whole EBS thing. This is a white person creating such a disturbance in the force that some people call wind of it. I was kind of there because I followed Eric and EVS. Like I bought Cyber Fraud. It's whatever. I support independence. I said I had never reviewed ISOM, but a homie, fellow YouTuber, he's created his book. He was somebody who aspired to be a writer. He actually made his book, and I bought it, and he's doing well. White guy. He put together a stream with me and some other black dudes, and we talked about ISOM.
Okay.
And I'm like, that kind of sucked on our part because it took a white guy to bring these black dudes together. Or I'm not going to say it took a white guy. It only happened because of a white guy.
Okay.
It could have been us to take that step and say, let's make it happen, but we didn't. So just like with you finding me, Fatal J, Mark with the C, and the other two guys, I subscribe to them. I like what they had to say, and I like how the father was going into the art and trying, educate people and all that. So I'm like, okay, because of white people, we are here now talking to each other, bro. So I'm not just going to just dismiss.
That's a hell of a pill to swallow, ain't it though?
We got to do better, man. We need to, after the stream, just black creators, bro, just start vetting people, man. What you about, man? Let's talk.
Man, listen. Yeah, when Ethan had us up there, and then Red was like, yo, he's going over our stream. I was like, quit playing. I said, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Rubber band.
Bro,
Birdman.
that white light is something else, bro. That's crazy, man.
But that's the truth. That's the truth.
It is the truth, but that goes to my point of I'm pretty sure Eric understands this. With black people, he's only going to get so far. If some black person ain't tripping him in the process.
Yes.
So when you said, because you said he was like wild and somebody need to kind of like tap him on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's why I've been kind of checked out. of it.
Okay.
Because like I said, he would like talk at or around EVS instead of instead of like actually addressing it on the screen, or like when he had the conversation. I know words kind of inflate things and give people this false sense of like what something is. So a conversation that he was supposed to have with EVS on the Blaze, like him not doing that, I'm like, it's little things like that
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt.
that that hurt because when EVS doing trash cast, I don't give EVS shit for that because I'm like, dude is I think that's just his personality. He's
Yeah.
like a comedic person. So he's like, oh, okay, well, if you're not gonna talk to me, I'm gonna have fun. Now I did say he sounds like seem like a bitter ex that is like still fighting for the attention. But I think that's just his comedic personality.
Yeah.
Well, since you won't talk about these issues, I'm gonna have fun laughing at you and highlighting stuff. But then again, I would say I would question his character, his integrity, because at first he reviewed ISOM and said it was good. And
Okay.
now all of a sudden it's terrible, which I'm like, well, hey, if it's your homie, it's like he didn't want to say it himself. So he just like, hey, Eric, you need to listen to this with this Vito, Dick Masterson dude. They got some stuff to say. Like,
Yeah.
bro, you could have been the one to say that if he was your homie, if you really cared about him and say these things. But now all of a sudden, oh, now I get the trash on Isom. So it's like that's where I would say his I would question him or I'm iffy about him because of that.
Okay.
But simply him doing trash casts just have look, hey, that's what YouTubers do, I guess.
It's hilarious to me, man. These people be and even the other white folk that don't like him. I mean, they go at
Yeah,
my thing with Eric is they fight different. That's my
yeah.
whole thing. Like, yo, they do some shit you are not built to go to war with. When dude went to the, I'm gonna keep saying it. When dude went to the grave site, that was it. He
Yeah.
should have been like, I'm cool. I'm out. I'm just gonna do my comics, do my work on this story, this product. Keep my head down. Y'all got it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not built to fight like them, and that's how they get down. You see how they do with each other. And so here, the token part of my argument was instinctively, without even thinking. Anytime we see a panel of white folk and you see the one black person, we automatically think, okay, why are you there? Are you there to you're the cool you're the cool black friend. They let you up to talk.
Agreed.
Right.
Yep.
So without even giving the full context, we instinctively think, okay, you're just there as a mouthpiece. And when I saw Eric on these different platforms, because to me the whole woke thing was white folk infighting. I always said that's not our fight. You can have your commentary, either just keep it to on your platform, your sector, and if they somehow just felt the need to ask you how you see it, then cool. Keep, like Fatal J said, I keep it neutral, and I love that part. But I just kept seeing them pop up here and there. And I'm just like, and then you bring the politics and you're libertarian and you want to talk about economics. You mentioned Thomas Sowell. That's not the place for that. At the end of the day, this whole culture thing was white folk in-house fighting. And that's how I'm looking at it. Like, this ain't the guy should it does, but they took the term woke from us and now it's no longer ours. It hasn't been ours for some years now. So let them have it. Go ahead.
I don't want to let them have that word. It meant something. And it was I will not let I'm only me, but I don't use the word woke. I don't use it seriously. Or if I do use it, and I'm like, I'll put it in quotes or whatever, because I'm like, I'm trying to make it be known. I'm using it how y'all use it.
Okay.
But how the word originated, that's our word.
That's us all
It
day.
means
I agree. I agree.
It's fighting back against what they're currently doing. Waking people up to just because it's black does not mean it's good. It's
Mhm.
destructive for our culture. So I still want that word to be realized, to be used in that way. I know it's probably a losing battle, but it is what it is. That group of us will know what we mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I, when you say, I guess you would have to elaborate more when you say it wasn't the place for that, because as I said earlier, Eric talking about the libertarianism, the Thomas Sowell, like all of that other stuff. This was a perspective that Black people had that I was not aware of.
Okay.
So I appreciate him talking about those things. That's what set him apart from the other dudes who, okay, I know if I'm gonna go listen to y'all content, y'all just complaining about something with colored people or gay people in it or whatnot. And I'm not saying that's all that they do or what they look for. Like Ryan Kendall's comment about the Black people and Black men, like that being taken out of context, which I defended that. I
Okay.
defended it
Okay.
because he didn't say there's too many good Black people in the movie. He was paying attention to, and this is what they do. If you do have a colored person or a gay person, they do have to be the good guys, or they're only bad because of the influence some evil white man had on them to make them that way.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I'm like, I understood what he was saying, but again, all Black people heard was too many good Black people. So they was like, oh, you don't like Black people, all that type of stuff. So that's what the word means to me, and it will continue to mean that for me, because also me talking about like the Cosbys and like Fresh Prince, that reminds me of a time, even though I wasn't born, but like the Black Panthers, for instance, which I don't know too much or a whole lot about. I can't educate my young self, can't educate nobody on that. But it reminds me of a time where Black people fought for Black people, for the betterment of Black people, and didn't care to be a part of white things or to be accepted by the white man. I'm not saying we have to hate the white man, but I want to go back to that time, or I believe we definitely are capable of that self sufficiency.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's why I don't use the word. And if somebody can't critique something without using the word woke, then I really don't care to hear what you got to say.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I hear the word used. I just be like, oh, here we, when
yeah,
they
yeah.
do the critiques, I just be like, here we go. Yeah.
But as far as the drama and all that type of stuff, I think it's sad, it's unfortunate because again, Eric didn't want to be the king of anything. I think he capitalized off of his huge audience and his reach, and
Right.
he did that. That's another big reason why I'm doing the YouTube thing. I want to create this audience to where, shoot, I got somebody to sell my book to, and they can
Yeah.
tell other people's
Yeah.
about my stuff, regardless of the color. I think what happened with that though, and I won't say on Eric's part, I think it was more of the EBS stuff where it's creating a more cultish, like warlike behavior. I think with content creators, if you have a huge following, your followers are just going to do that. They're
Hmm.
just going to go at people's necks for you. So I don't blame Eric for that. And I hate when people say that he sent his followers, not just Eric, but anybody. They sent these folks, to my knowledge, unless they in some Discord saying like, "Hey, go get them, go on his stream." Unless they doing that, these folks ain't saying that, bro. It's just you like this person, you think they embody everything that you believe the world should be or whatever. So you go to bat for them. I see
Yeah.
all the dick ride
Yeah.
on Twitter, bro. It's sad. I'm like, these grown men, they can fight for themselves,
Yeah.
or they can speak for themselves. Like, of course, a comment here or there, like that's fine. Give your opinion, but yeah, just the constant like stroking of these dudes, man. That's wild to me. But I think it's more of that. And again, the enemy sees that and they don't take you seriously when you're fighting amongst each other. They're like,
I
okay,
agree.
they're no longer a threat. They're
I
not
agree.
together. They're not formidable.
I agree.
So, so I think that it's helping Eric with his business. It's probably even helping EVS with his YouTube business. Probably not the comic stuff because he ain't getting them books out or working. I can't speak too much on what I don't know, but it's like while that's happening, the mainstream is just like, oh, okay, well, we're going to keep on pushing our messaging in these shows while y'all just keep fighting each other
Yeah.
and whatnot. But at the same time, man, you got a lot of people who are just going and supporting other independent creators. Like they are, because how big they are and their reach, I guess they are Marvel and DC now. Um, so people just got to go to the other independents and just keep supporting them. Like keep the mission,
Yeah.
keep being mission focused, and not get caught up in that drama. Like I'll see people saying like, "Oh, I'm no longer supporting that person because of the fighting that they're doing and all of that. Um, I mean, sure, do what you want with your money, but
Yeah.
I think at some point, you do have to be able to separate what the art from the artist. I'm gonna say this. Neither, and somebody else said this old guy who I love this man. I appreciate his input. Old veteran in comics. It's like neither of these books are owed the attention that they are getting. So I'm like, you got so many other dudes who have phenomenal books, phenomenal art, great stories that are getting no attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, instead of paying attention to these, I don't want to say shit books, man, because anyway, instead of paying attention to them, just keep up the fight, man, and continue supporting independence. And yeah, like we might not topple those giants, Marvel and DC, but we can create some wealth on a smaller scale
Right.
and
I
make a
just want
difference in
to be
some
able to
people's
have a
lives.
niche carved out that
Yeah,
guys like
yeah,
you can go to and be like, okay, it's over there. We got a place to go. We can call our own. And it doesn't
yeah.
have to be a multi-billion-dollar business. That's part of the issue with
Hmm.
black folks. They want $1 billion. It's like maybe it's not just meant in the cards for y'all to have $1 billion. You know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I thought about with my cousin's passing, man. It's like everybody's not here for the long haul,
Right.
or Moses never got to see the promised land. Some
Right.
people's role on this earth, it might, with our earthly thinking, it might be sad or unfortunate, but some people's role is just to influence that other person that's going to be great, or to just pass on some messaging and influence that person. Like I said, that will be great, that will bring great change and whatnot. So yeah, man, just do what you can and have fun and don't attack nobody. Don't bring harm to anybody else. And you might be good.
AJ, I've had you on for an hour and a half. I want to pause because there's a whole bunch. We just now got to the tip of the iceberg. So so much I want to bring you
Yeah,
back
yeah.
on and get into. Definitely. Where shout yourself out where the people can find you.
Man, where you've linked my YouTube already in the chat. I appreciate that, man. Just go there. I haven't made videos in a while because I've been doing more, going through a crazy time in my life, but still, creating art, still working on my stories and whatnot. I still stream from time to time. So man, look, just go to my channel and be there for the ride. I'm working on my stuff again, man. I do the YouTube thing and I'm like, oh, this article, this person said this and they're pushing this, and I might still do that from time to time, but my goal has always been to talk to good people, to highlight issues of them using our skin color for nefarious purposes, but also to have people that I can present my creative projects to. So that's what I've been focused more on now, kind of just back and doing more drawing, doing more work, and more creating. And still training my dogs, man, my dog business. I'm trying to do a lot of stuff, man. It's you can I'm trying to reach people in all type of ways through
Wait,
all
one
different.
last question before I let you go. Please tell
Yeah.
me that they're not American Staffordshire Terriers.
That I train?
Yeah, the dogs you work with are they pit bulls?
No, I work with all dogs, man.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. No, no, no. You
Not
no, because I have a thing with us and pit bulls. I'm just like so.
man, look, I don't even like pit bulls,
Okay.
and it's not because of the stigma, the negative light that they get. I like primitive breeds, so
Okay.
dogs that look very much more wolf-like.
Yeah.
That nature had more of a hand in making them than man did.
Yeah.
Man made pit bulls and Rottweilers and all that type of stuff. I'm not a fan of those big head, stocky monsters, man. But no, man, I train pet dogs. So people like, yeah, my dog don't do this or they do this and all that. I don't care about the breed. Bring it to me. I just help people communicate with
That's what's
dogs, man.
up. All right, definitely.
Caesar
Go ahead.
Caesar Milan, man, was my inspiration. A
Okay.
Mexican dude, a
Yeah,
full
the
Mexican.
dog whisperer. Yes, yes.
Yes,
I watched his
sir.
stuff. His shit's A1, man. Like
Yes,
that man
sir.
crazy.
So that man, like his connection with Mother Nature, with the natural world, and his believing in God and all that type of stuff. Like again, I think we've lost that connection with nature. Therefore, we're losing connection with our fellow man, and that's
Right.
why we're in the state that we are now. We need to get back to our roots, man. But that's what I help people do. Just have a good life with your dog, man.
Wise words. Wise words. I'm impressed with your maturity and the thought that that goes into the thought you put behind your answers. I'm highly impressed with you, and I definitely need to bring you back ASAP. So because like I said, there's a whole bunch of things we just skimmed the top of. I definitely want to go get deeper with you and all that good stuff. So I'm not gonna hold you, my man. But thank you for reaching out. Thank you for coming through. So definitely I'll be in touch with you to bring you back on for a part 2 with that. So
hopefully you're not still emailing like an old person, man.
I'll text you my number, man.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I just be respectful with people because people, you start numbers to get thrown out. It's like, oh, because some people are like, oh, it's too soon for numbers.
No, I got you. I was just messing with you. I was having fun, but yeah,
my man, Abomination AJ, my brother. Thank you for coming through.
All right, man. Peace. Appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night. All right, Red, where you at? I'm about to set up right now. If you're still in the chat, I'm setting up right now. Shout out to Abomination AJ. Please go sub to his channel. Show him some love. Nasty pivot work, man. Nasty pivot work. So I'm gonna set up, coming back with Crabs in the Barrel with my co-host. This is all Red Sings the Blues fault, because all y'all know Red. Y'all be like, oh, I know Red. Like, he's the catalyst for all this. This is all his fault. So give me about 20 minutes and we're gonna be back to talk more stuff. So see y'all in about 20 minutes. Peace.